And a great big welcome to the Sports Show once again. I'm Emdad, your host with the most, otherwise known as the Wandering Londoner, and I have a massive guest here with me today, if I may say so. And you'll find out during the course of the program as well. Now, those who follow the show avidly will know that we like to focus a lot on local talent. We like to create headlines for local people. That's not to say we don't interview mega superstars. We do, and over the years had many studio guests who have excelled in various sports related activities on not only a local level but on a national and also a global level as well. Now, my guest here today is a gentleman. His name is Taj Uddin Ahmed. He's a local lad from Myland, brought up and still living, working in Tower Hamlets, although he has spread his wings far and wide. Now, recently, Taj himself participated, I'm talking about in the last calendar month, in 2 championships related to bodybuilding, and we'll find out during the course of the program. And guess what? He won them both, all at the ripe old age of 50. Now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce you all to Taj Uddin Ahmed. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you on the Sports Show here today, Taj. And just to keep you on your toes, I love using these sporting innuendos to keep my guests in check. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Currently, I'm working as a personal trainer, and I'm based in Islington, and I'm also based in here in East London. I also do some work online, so people all around the world can receive online coaching in terms of training and in terms of nutrition.
Great. How long have you been doing this?
Full time, I've been doing it for about 8 years. I've been doing this part time going on to 15 years or so.
Now, before we start talking about yourself, Taj, because there's a lot to talk about, just need to ask you, how important is nutrition and how important is healthy living?
Nutrition and healthy living. Well, there is a saying, you can have all the time in the world or all the money in the world. Unless you have good health, you can't enjoy either. Your health is your biggest wealth.
Now, Taj, as a personal trainer, obviously you're seen and perceived to be a role model. Not just seen and perceived to be, you have to live life as a role model. There's no cutting corners in the discipline that you are involved and immersed in all the time. And obviously it takes a lot of mentoring on your part in terms of guiding people, advising people and showing them the true direction that they need to take in order to bring about positive changes in your life. Just how much thought, apart from the obvious physical efforts, just how much thought goes into your line of work on a daily basis?
It's something you always have to be conscious of in terms of preparation and planning, in terms of your meals, in terms of your sleep, in terms of your rest, in terms of every aspect of your life. There's a mantra that I go by, and it's called the 3 Ds: discipline, diet, determination. So these things are overarched by consistency. So being consistent with your discipline, being consistent with your diet, and being consistently determined. That's the only way you'll achieve your goals.
Now, as I've just mentioned a little bit earlier, again mentioning his age, at the age of 50, at the golden age of 50 I should add, Taj recently participated in 2 shows, and we'll be getting into the nitty-gritty of all that shortly. But Taj, you've taken up bodybuilding, weight training, bodybuilding in recent years, and particularly focused on yourself. So most of your work, from my vantage point, is focused on your clients, people in the community, the elderly, those who are extremely fit, those who are not so fit. So you work with diverse groups of people with different mindsets, different backgrounds, different ages and abilities. So you participated in the BPA show. Can you tell us a little bit about your participation, what happened, and what did you achieve?
Okay. In terms of health and fitness, I've always been avidly or very keen in terms of muscles, in terms of exercise, in terms of fitness. Football used to be my background, but in terms of training, I've always loved and enjoyed training from a young age. The work that I do, like you pointed out, I work with a variety of experienced clients or people who've never exercised before to people who are very competent or have been exercising but need a little bit more motivation, a little bit more guidance to excel and go beyond. Age ranges varying from teenage all the way 50 plus, 60 plus. It's not just face-to-face work, it's work online as well. Recently, I took a decision to go into this bodybuilding show, the BPA, British Physiques Association, who had a competition on the 26th of October at the Thistle in Heathrow. That was a snap kind of decision, even though people and friends and colleagues have always asked why I've never sort of competed. So fitness has always been something personal for me, and I did it for myself, for my health, for my well-being, for my physical well-being, as well as my mental well-being. And it's something I thoroughly enjoyed, and it was embedded into my daily life. Turning 50, I got inspired by attending a bodybuilding show where a gentleman by the name of Shiraz, who lives up north. He's also a personal trainer. I connected with him on social media. Some of the stuff he puts out online align with my mindset and my philosophy in terms of lifestyle, in terms of fitness, in terms of nutrition. Happened to have a quick conversation with him, and he said, Taj, I'm in London. I'm competing at this show on, I think it was earlier on in October, 1st of September. That's when the show was. I looked on my calendar, went there, saw the show, saw Shiraz compete, saw the buzz. I was inspired. I went home the next day and I registered as a competitor for that show, BPA, for the 26th of October.
Fantastic. Before we move on to the next part, I just need to ask you a quick question related to what you've shared there already. So, again, I'm referring to your age again, Taj. So there will be people who will be watching this show who have reached a certain age or certain part of their journey in life, and they will feel inspired. So you made an important point of mentioning that you were asked over the course of your life numerous times, why don't you participate in competitions? And I think what's really important for us to take note of here is the fact that you kind of said to them that I'm doing it for my own well-being and I do it for my own pleasure. And it was never an objective for you or an obsession for you to keep fit and look good and build yourself up simply to participate in competitions. For you, I'm taking, correct me if I'm wrong, that the ultimate pleasure was in actually living a clean life and being fit and being healthy for yourself and for your family and for the people who are the nearest and dearest next to you. So is this the same advice? There will be people who will say, look, I can't participate, you know, just like Taj has done, let alone win a championship. But what I would like to do is follow the same journey that he has in terms of the advice that I'm picking up for him, in terms of the inspiration that he provides. People who have reached a certain age, is it too late for them? Or can people do what you're doing at any stage of their life?
Brilliant. You know, one of the things that inspired me or motivated me was that I wanted to be a young dad. Young dad in the sense that when I was older, in my 40s, in my 50s, I still wanted to be able to kick a football with my children. I'm a father of 3, my youngest is 12, and I can, you know, proudly say that I'm still young and fit and able to do those things. And these were things that I used to think about in my younger years, even before I became a father. So in terms of staying healthy and staying fit, this was one of the inspiration. Having said that, going into the shows at the age of 50 was a demonstration. It is never too late to start exercising, to take your health seriously, to take nutrition seriously. I have got clients who have recently started training at ages similar to me, at 49, at 50. I've had clients 60 years and over, and within 6 months, within a year, they can start reversing their metabolic age. they're getting stronger, fitter, healthier, and are able to lead more independent and more fruitful and successful lives because of exercise. And it's never too late to start.
So it gets better with you. You participated at the BPA Super Show, and knowing you're not content with just being one of the numbers in the lineup. You had to go and win the whole thing. Astonishing result, a very proud moment for you and everybody associated with you, those who know you, close and from afar as well. So can you tell us about your experience on the day? So you, with regards to actually winning the BPA Super Show.
Competing is quite grueling. I'm very disciplined as an individual anyway, and you have to be even more disciplined to be able to sort of compete on that level. But that kept me going, that motivated me. I always like to strive to improve and to better myself. Show day was fantastic, meeting people from all walks of life who are into fitness, who had similar kind of mindsets. Everybody's really friendly, even though we're competitors, everybody's encouraging everybody. We're all on a kind of a same journey in terms of being the best versions of ourselves, being disciplined, leading healthy lives, and then just celebrating the journey that we've all sort of taken. Most people take 16 weeks or more to prep for these competitions, and it takes a lot of sacrifice in terms of socializing, in terms of your family time, in terms of types of food that you normally enjoy, which you have to sacrifice so you can prep and be ready for the shows. So it was an amazing experience, all together, and just a big celebration at the end of it all, in terms of the success of everyone achieving their goals of being able to get up onto that stage.
So Taj, this is a phenomenal achievement. I'm still trying to get my head around it. I don't think, looking at you now and interacting with you now, I can honestly say I don't think it's even sunk in for you yet. Why I say that is, sometimes when you enjoy such great success and celebration of your abilities, you get caught up or you get sucked into a whirlwind, because the whole range of emotions, from happiness to elation to celebrating with friends, family, the nearest, to your clients, to those who came along to support you. And sometimes what it does, it takes a period of time to cool down, where you're sitting there, and I'm sure reflection is a great part of your process on a regular basis. And then you think to yourself, wow, I haven't actually done too bad there. Do you agree with me with that? That it's still
sinking in. I completely agree with you. So after the first show, I'm thinking, was this a fluke or something? And then going to the second show, of course.
Of course, on that basis, just between the first show and the second show, or even prior to that as well, I am led to believe or understand that from the original Gladiator series from our generation, is it Helen Panther? She was a great motivating factor for you.
Yeah, she's one of the founders of BPA, or the owner of BPA, the British Physics Association, yes. And she was one of the great gladiators from back in the days that we grew up with in the 90s, where people from all walks of life went to the show competing, being sporting, being active. So it was a show as a kid, as a teenager, growing up, was an inspiration for me as well. Yeah, and it was amazing to be able to participate in one of Helen's shows.
Wonderful. And being a footballing man himself, as he admitted just earlier as well, he was not content with a single trophy. So what Taj did was, like I said, in the space of a month, within a few weeks of that first historic triumph for him, and a celebration and obviously a magnificent achievement for our community, Taj decided to put his hat into the ring for a new competition. What competition was that?
Pure Elite. To be fair, Pure Elite was the first competition that I registered for, right, after seeing Shiraz on the 1st of September. And the Pure Elite competition was on the 9th of November. And it was held...
This was World Championships?
This was the World Championships, yeah, held by Pure Elite at the Swan Theatre in High Wycombe.
Right. And so you followed up your marvelous achievements So this is why I was talking about letting things sink in, because you've just been in a whirlwind. So you followed up your first success, a triumph, weeks later by participating in the Pure Elite World Championships, which obviously, like you've mentioned, you were going to participate in first, but it was a chance for you to participate in a second championships. My understanding is it was a more competitive, more difficult competition, but you were still content with actually making waves in that first tournament, in that first spectacle that you took part. So what happened at Pure Elite?
Wow, where do I start? The experience I gained from BPA was actually priceless. It helped me better prepare for Pure Elite, and it was in some ways a bigger show because there was more international athletes that came to the show and competed. There's more entrants at this particular show. What else shall I say about that? It was just an amazing experience in that show. Very well organized, very long day. It started really early. By the time the prize giving came through, it was way after 10 o'clock, 10:30. So starting your day as early as 9 o'clock on show day, doors opened at 11, and then the various categories from bodybuilding to physique to men's physique to models and the women's wellness, etc. Many different categories of shows took place and competitions took place on that day.
So, question for you: on the basis of your success, do you, Taj, from your years of experience, and I mean you've only been a personal trainer for a few years, but those who know you know that you've been into fitness and absolutely obsessed with healthy living, lifestyle, bodybuilding, weight training, and anything to do with this discipline all your life. Do you believe that champions are born or are they made?
I think champions are made. Okay, you have to live and walk a certain lifestyle, a certain path to become a champion. I don't think anybody is born into anything. You have to mold yourself, you have to work for it, and you have to grind and be disciplined and consistent throughout.
Wonderful. Now, can you describe a typical day for Taj Uddin Ahmed?
Typical day, I usually wake up pretty early, 5 o'clock in the morning, 5:30 in the morning. I'll get up, I'll do my, do my breakfast, have my breakfast, get ready for my morning prayers. If I'm up early and not have a client too early, I'll go to my local masajid, do my fajr, then come back home, prepare my youngest for his school, do the school run, and then in for my first client, usually 8:30 in the morning. Some mornings I start 7:30, but typically 8:30. So I'll train my first client, second client, and then as soon as I get a break, I'll hit the gym and I'll do my training. So I'll be in the gym for an hour or so, finish my workout, have my post-workout meal, and then back to work again. Do a couple more clients, then I'll do a school run. Pick up my boy after school, drop him off, settle him down, and then back to work in the evening for my evening clients. And my day usually finishes between 7:30 or 9:30 in the evening. I'll come back home, dinner, and then I'll be in bed by 10:30, 11 o'clock every night. So I can get up the next day and repeat.
And repeat. So I've got two questions to go on what you've just said now as well. So you start the day, and a lot of our viewers will find it interesting. And I'm not just talking about people who are devout in their religions, but also people who aren't. Because I come across a lot of people who, for example, we are from the Islamic faith, we're Muslims, and we try to lead a certain lifestyle. We have worship which takes place throughout the day as well. And I know non-Muslim friends, for example, who are actually really interested in how we cope. They say, how do you cope? A lot of them obviously learn later on that it's not a question of coping, it becomes part of our life. So it's a second nature to us most of the time as well. Is faith an important part of your daily living and what you're trying to achieve, what you have achieved and what you're trying to achieve going forward?
I think being Muslim, faith is an integral part of your daily life. Because first and foremost is the most important thing, because as a Muslim you believe the sole purpose of your creation is to worship Allah. So everything has to relate back to your religion, to your faith. In terms of integrating every aspect of your religion is similar to integrating fitness and fitness lifestyle into your daily life. In terms of discipline with fitness and nutrition and diet, it's exactly the same and transferable to discipline in terms of our deen and in terms of Islam. One, for me personally, one has helped the other and vice versa.
Great. So for the viewers, the reason why I mentioned faith here is there's still significant numbers of people from within various communities, including the Muslim communities, who fail to make the association between clean and healthy living and also their faith. Those who know anything about faith will know that the two are pretty much interlinked. And also, when you have a clean living lifestyle, what it does is it enhances your ability to worship at the same time. So people who have good health will be able to walk or jog or cycle to the masjid, for example, to the mosque, to perform their prayers. They will be able to stand, bow, prostrate during their salah, for example, because of their fitness levels. Those people who have health complications and who live unhealthy lives will be unable to do so. They may, again, this is not a criticism of anybody, but it does affect our ability to worship. They may require the assistance of a chair to perform their prayers. Some people may not be able to do that. Some people may be even bedridden. Some people may require apparatus to help them get to the mosque, whether it's an electronic wheelchair, a walking street, etc. And I think one of the primary aspects of the benefits of a healthy life I have noticed, and I'm sure Taj will agree with as well, is during the Hajj, for example. Now, there was a time, this mindset is changing, that people used to go on the Hajj when they were older. They think, okay, we've now retired, we've reached a certain age, we'll keep a beard, we'll start wearing a hat, we'll adorn ourselves in Islamic attire, and we'll go for Hajj. But it takes a fit man or a woman to perform Hajj or Umrah simply because of the activities involved, whether they're tawaf, sa'i, even doing ziyaras, even walking from your hotel, respected hotel in Makkah and Medina to the harams, the beloved harams, takes quite a lot of walking as well. So it's a fit person's game. So again, what we're trying to hammer through with this message is it's highly important that we take good care of ourselves, because it impacts other aspects of our life, various other aspects of our lives, including practicing of our faith. Now, Taj, going back to you again, can you tell us a little bit about, there's a certain career path that you've taken, and there must have been certain role models from your childhood and through your teenage years, and even now going forward, who have had positive influences throughout your life. Would you like to mention a few, and maybe why?
Yeah, there's been various role models throughout my life in terms of the bodybuilding and the superficial stuff, and in terms of how I got into wanting muscles and looking good and looking sporty, from looking at all the 80s heroes, from Sylvester Stallone to Arnold Schwarzenegger to Bruce Willis to Dolph Lundgren, and all of those 80s superhero movies were very, very inspiring. I grew up with a cousin who was only a couple of years older than me. We'd watch these Rocky movies and then do 1,000 push-ups and sit-ups and whatnot. And it all started at a very young age, 7, 8 years old. And then going into secondary school, I was a local boy, went to Stepney Green School. One of my PE and games teacher, Mr. Jessup, is very disciplined and hugely inspiring and influential in my life, which helped developed certain disciplines, certain skills, which I later on in life used as a coach when I played football, and embedded some of those disciplines into my fitness lifestyle as well. And obviously our Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he is a huge influence on us in terms, or he should be an influence on us and the model that we should be following. He himself participated in physical activity, archery, horse riding, even raced with his wife, Aisha. Various different hadiths in terms of relating fitness and trying to stay healthy. A strong believer is a better believer in the eyes of Allah than a weak believer. Well, both have good qualities, and I believe that's in Sahih Muslim. There's various other hadiths promoting health and fitness. And you know, Allah has given a cure and treatment for every illness and ailment except death. So prevention is better than cure. Exercise and fitness, you know, should be the way forward. And what you've just pointed out on, you know, doing a salah, going into sujood, going into ruku, you need a certain level of fitness. And if, you know, our brothers, sisters, mothers, aunts, uncles, they participate in some sort of activity and exercise and take care of the physique, their body and their nutrition, they'll be able to participate in Hajj without difficulty, without having to go into the wheelchair.
Some communities, they struggle with their diet. And this is something I've kept at the back of my mind in anticipation of you and I'm meeting here today in the LB24 studios. Now, certain people I've spoken to about you coming onto the show have said that I can do it with a little bit of dedication and a little bit of motivation, but I'm not willing to give up my chicken and chips, my 3 plates of rice, you know. I'm not just talking about Asian backgrounds as well, the fish and chips. If you look at white Caucasian communities as well, if you look at the African communities as well, they've got many people who partake in very, very unhealthy diets. So I'm not focusing on a particular community. Every community has healthy and unhealthy options as well. But for various reasons, people nowadays, it's become, you know, an epidemic in many societies where healthy lifestyles are dictated by the food that people eat. Why is it important for people to, number one, watch what they eat? And sorry, number two, is it expensive to eat healthily? And number three, water consumption. Somebody actually asked me to ask you about that. So number one is, why is it important to eat healthily? Can they become like you by doing what they say they are? Because this person was very confident. The person said, I can do what he does. I just need a little bit of dedication, motivation, but I'm not prepared to give up my 3 times a week chicken and chips, etc., etc. So you know what I'm talking about, the unhealthy lifestyle. Can they do that? Why is it important to do so? And also talk about water, how important water is.
Okay, I can go
Take as long as you like.
I can go backwards, you know.
Yeah.
We are 75% plus water. Every single cell of our body is made out of water. So we have to stay hydrated to function, to be healthy, to stay alive. Very, very important. They say 3 to 3.5 liters of water per day. I tend to drink 4 to 6 liters a day. But 3.5 liters would be the basic recommendation for most people, most adults, to drink. In terms of eating healthy, why eating healthy is important, you know, we are what we eat basically, and our body requires certain macros, proteins, carbohydrates. We need our fats, good fats as well, and we need a balance of that. Too much of a good thing can be bad. Eating just, you know, tons and tons of meat, that can be a problem. So we need to understand what healthy eating is first and foremost, and eating healthy will prevent you from becoming ill, prevent you from becoming obese, prevent you from developing diabetes, coronary heart diseases. And you talked about different ethnic backgrounds because of our cultures and norms. Just looking at Newham and Tower Hamlets, it has the highest mortality rate out of all of London boroughs. Type 2 diabetes is disproportionately overrepresented in the South Asian communities, particularly in Pakistani and Bangladeshi communities. South Asian women are 65% higher risk, at a 65% higher risk in developing coronary diseases in comparison to the rest of the population within the UK. Pakistani men have the highest risk of heart diseases in the UK. South Asian diet, unfortunately, and especially Bangladeshi diet, is very high in fats, very high in carbohydrates, which promotes diabetes, which promotes coronary heart diseases and health issues. As it happens, I'm trying to work or start a project to try and address that, the disproportionate representation or alarming rates of diabetes and coronary heart diseases within Tower Hamlets, and working hopefully with local community centres and local masajids, trying to get local worshippers to participate in some sort of physical activity, and then through those interaction talk about nutrition and how we can combat diabetes, how we can tackle issues of coronary heart diseases by changing the nutrition, changing our diet, changing our lifestyle, getting a little bit more exercise and movement in.
Let's talk about mindsets, Taj. So, again, this is for the benefit of our viewers and people who are watching as well. Keeping fit, some people live life, keeping fit. Some people make adaptations. Some people make great sacrifices. Which category do you fall into, number one? And also, some people have the notion that poor Taj, he looks wonderful. He looks beautiful. Look at him and his sculptured, toned body, this, that, the other. But he must be going through hell, personally, to look this good. Now, is that a notion that is misinformed?
With everything, there's a balance. And what I tend to sort of advise is, unless you're competing, when you're competing you have to go kind of all out and you have to be extra disciplined. But to lead a general level of healthy and fit life, if you follow an 80-20 rule, for example, you talked about takeaways and fast food, you can enjoy the odd treat 20% of the time and eat your cultural food, etc., and enjoy it at a social gathering or at an invitation or at a wedding or at a party. So long as 80% of the time you're disciplined and you're eating clean and healthy, you're eating variety of protein sources, your red meats, poultry, fish, you're eating carbohydrates but not overeating, and you're reducing your processed foods. So it's a balance, and it's up to the individual on how extreme or how relaxed they want to be. But so long as they're somewhere in the middle, following a general 80-20 rule, they will be fit and they'll be healthy and they'll be able to lead a happy, healthy life. Somebody who's overweight, somebody who's got health issues, isn't going to be happy, isn't going to be able to lead an independent life, isn't going to be able to participate in many hobbies or hobbies that require you to be physical or active.
Very interesting. What's the key to holding on to muscle whilst losing fat?
What is the key?
Yeah.
Training heavy, eating healthy, consuming plenty of protein, and doing resistance training.
And
good rest.
Good rest. Again, these are relevant questions to our viewers. So what's the secret to building a massive lower body?
A massive lower body?
Yeah.
Make sure you don't skip leg day and train legs.
Train legs. They sound very, very... Obviously, they're quite trivial questions, but we have viewers who actually need that little boost in terms of the advice that you provide to move forward with their next steps in life. So, going back to your personal life, Taj, you've achieved a lot. You continue to inspire people on a daily basis. It's not all about bright shining lights, as we saw at the two competitions that you've been successful in. Although you enjoy your moments in the sun, as they say, the bright lights are great, when they happen, the celebrations, the plaudits that you receive. But the reality is very different. So what I'm asking now is, how lonely is life generally? So when you're participating or when you're preparing for participation in certain events or competitions, how lonely can life be?
Life can be lonely. You know, I remember years and years when I was in my previous job, I was always social, you know, with social gatherings and things like that. Monday, Wednesdays and Fridays, if there was any social gatherings, if there was something between, you know, 5:30 and 7:30, I wouldn't make it. And all my colleagues knew that, and all my friends knew that. Monday, Wednesday and Friday, Taj would always be at the gym at those hours. So I'd organize my life around my training, around my gym, because that was very, very important to me. And that was the only time that I could go to the gym. Some people have the flexibility of going in the morning or late at night. But if it meant me being alone, I'd be alone, because it was very, very important for me. So,
if you were starting bodybuilding or weight training or personal training today, knowing what you know now, is there anything that you would do differently?
Many things in terms of what I know and understand now and have learnt in terms of biomechanics, in terms of nutrition, in terms of exercise techniques. If I was to be able to go back, you know, 30 years and give my younger self some advice, there'd be plenty of advice that I would give. Nutrition being a key factor, which I took for granted in my younger days, not realizing how much nutrition impacted on how you performed and how you physically looked.
So you're looking jacked, if I may say so, and you're looking healthy. And we know, as time is not the greatest friend for everybody in this discipline and field, it's very difficult for some people to maintain a good physique as they get older as well. So what, in your opinion, is the key to longevity in bodybuilding?
Good nutrition, good rest, and being smart with your training and being consistent. You have to be consistent. In terms of looking young and youthful and being active, is definitely staying healthy, staying fit and exercising.
So Taj, on a local level as well, you've got an exciting project that you're looking to launch very, very soon. Obviously, you've briefed me regarding it, and I'm as excited as you are, because there's a community element involved. Not only does it take in what you love doing, which is fitness, nutrition, healthy living, lifestyle, etc., etc., but it also involves you engaging with the community, in particular, vulnerable members of our community. When I say about vulnerable, I mean health-wise. Vulnerable members of our community who may be struggling with their fitness, who may have dropped over the years, who may have been fine specimens when they were younger, but through, you know, as life takes its toll on us, have dropped off the race course or the running track throughout their lives. But it gives you a chance to give back to your community to start off with. Now, this project involves you engaging with the community. Talk us through it.
We briefly spoke about how, you know, it's never too late to start your fitness journey. So I've had clients who are very young in the teenage years, clients who are 50 plus, 40 plus, 60 plus. One of the inspiring or motivating factor was, my mum is fairly elderly at this present moment in time, and she's unwell. And, you know, benefit of hindsight is brilliant. I wish I would have made my mum exercise in terms of resistance training. And she's bedridden at the moment due to some long-term illnesses. And unfortunately, she isn't the only one. There are so many elderly people or middle-aged people, or people even my age, who could be living such wonderful lives if they had taken some preventative measures. That, alongside the statistics that I read out earlier on in terms of how diabetes and coronary heart disease is being disproportionately alarmingly high amongst the South Asian, especially Bangladeshi and Pakistanis, were the kind of inspiring factors or motivating factors to start this project. So the project that I'm sort of aiming to do is work with local massages initially. In conversation with my local mosque and the mosque community to start up a health and nutrition awareness project to highlight changing the dietary habits, getting them to do some exercises. So worshippers maybe staying behind after Fajr prayer, doing a 45-minute body weight session, maybe once a week, and then maybe twice a week, and once a month having kind of a workshop where we talk about nutrition, how we talk about the changes and how to bring about changes in our diet, in our lifestyle, to prevent such illnesses like diabetes and coronary heart diseases.
Okay, I'm just as excited as you are to hear about this, and I think given the right moves and how well it's received, I can't see it not being received and warmly embraced by our community. Everyone's a winner, especially members of our community. They're going to go to the mosque, the masjid, on a regular basis, at least 5 times a day. Some people obviously go there for different other activities as well. It's prime time for someone like you to actually focus on people who may neglect themselves in other aspects. Sometimes because of the importance placed on worship, and rightfully so, some people will give up other aspects and activities in their life, such as going to the gym or playing a sport or taking up a sport, simply because they can't tailor it or fit it into the schedule. In fact, you see sometimes in mosques now as well that some of the youngsters or even some of the oldsters as well, they will if they want to get together, what they will do is they will coincide their football session, whether it's five-a-side or otherwise, during prayers. Or if the older generation, they might play badminton, and they will do it when it's not prayer time or when there's sufficient hours in the day where they don't have to sacrifice their prayers to do so. So this gives you scope to actually use the participants of that and target a new group of people. Now, on the outside, it always seems like you are hustling. What does Taj do in his downtime? Do you have any interests or activities away from your general daily activities? I'm
a single dad, so all the free time that I get is taken up by my children, visiting families when I can. I try and catch up with my friends. During the weekend, I went to watch the new movie, The Gladiators 2. Big fan of one. So I try and do everyday normal activities. I have other interests outside of the gym as well.
Got it. Fantastic to hear. And we're coming up to the end of the show, Taj. You've given us some phenomenal advice throughout the course of today's show. But again, I just want you to focus on this question now. Like I said, the diversity within our viewership is huge. We have people from all walks of life and backgrounds. But not only do we get instant feedback at LB24, we also receive feedback historically. So because of our show going live on the internet and also being broadcast throughout the years, there are people who may watch this interview later on and come back and provide us with feedback saying, you know what, we watched this gentleman on your program and some of the things that he said were extremely valuable, and some of the things that he said were life-changing for us, and some of the things that he said benefited me, myself, but also my family and people from within my immediate friendship groups as well. So what advice would you like to provide to our viewers, considering what we've discussed here today about in terms of healthy living, and keeping yourself fit, eating healthily, but also using your own inspiration at this age and what you've achieved, and long may it continue. What advice can you offer our viewers?
Again, starting from, it's never too late to start your fitness journey. At 50, most people would have thought going into a bodybuilding competition for the first time, it was too late. You've passed your time, you've passed your sell-by date. And going into these two shows and winning, and some of the social media posts that I've made seems to have inspired a lot of strangers coming and telling me, Taj, I've seen you going to win this competition, and now I've started attending the gym. A lot of new clients have also signed up saying now they are going to start taking their health seriously, and they want further advice in terms of nutrition, in terms of exercise as well. Key things again, I will say, is your health is your biggest wealth. No matter how much time you have, I'm repeating again, no matter how much money you have, if you don't have your health, you cannot enjoy either of those things.
Viewers, thanks again for watching our live show. I do like to hold a trophy, and I reckon you need to be a weightlifter or a bodybuilder to actually lift this up, this beauty here again. We want to, on behalf of the team at LB24, first of all, commend Taj and congratulate him on his phenomenal success. But some of the key lessons that we've learned from today's interview here are thus: it's never too late to bring about positive changes. As long as you're alive and breathing, you're able to make a difference. And that's in your own life, but also have an impact in the lives of people around you as well. So even at the age of 50, Taj has proven that you can enjoy phenomenal success with a little bit of dedication and a lot of motivation and some inspiration within your lives. You can make the necessary changes to become active and achieve great things. It's been a pleasure having Taj on our show here today. I know I've been extremely motivated by listening to his wise and golden words. He will be participating in several more championships going forward in the future, and we hope that he will return again and again to our show to talk about his exploits, but at the same time inspiring whole generations from within our communities. Thanks for watching the Sports Show. I'm Emdad, your host, and we'll see you soon.